Hi, I'm Larly, and today I want to tell you guys something totally awesome. Even though World War II ended in 1945, one guy didn't stop fighting until 1974. Hiroo Onoda obviously wasn't a regular soldier. He was an officer trained in guerrilla warfare and intelligence. On December 26, 1944, he was stationed on Lubang Island in the Philippines to gather intelligence and to keep the Allies from controlling the island. He was given specific orders to never surrender. To surrender would be to dishonor Japan. After a while, the Allies conquered the island. So what happened was the troops that were left, the Japanese troops that were left, they split up into groups of like 4 or 5 people. So Hiroo Onoda, he was with, 4 other guys. And one day, out of the sky, all these leaflets dropped down that said, "The war is over, the war is over, hooray!" Come out. So other groups of Japanese fighters give up. They come out, they surrender, blah, blah, blah. But not Hiroo and not his guys. They continue to plunder different villages on the island and just generally survive in the wild. They, kill livestock and survive off the land for a decent amount of time. One of the guys eventually, he just went down and surrendered. But the other guys didn't know what happened to him, so they're like, "What if he got captured? Oh no." But he didn't. He surrendered, obviously. So it was, going on. Years and years are passing. 1972 rolls along. This is a long time after World War II ended. A long time. They've been, doing their thing, survival mode, and the world keeps telling them, like, dropping leaflets, loudspeakers, "Hey, come out wherever you are, the war is over." But whatever. 1972 rolls along, and the last guy that was with Hiroo, he gets into a fight with a Filipino patrol, and he gets killed. So Hiroo is all alone. Now, after this happens, people back in Japan are like, "I bet Hiroo is alive. I bet he's out there." And a whole bunch of people go to this island to try to find him. No luck. One guy, his name was Norio Suzuki. He was like a college kid, and he had a bucket list. One was find Hiroo, one was see a panda, and the other one was see the abominable snowman. But anyway, so he goes to the island, finally finds him, and tells him, "The war is over. You need to come down." But Hiroo didn't believe him, so the Japanese, so he goes back to Japan and says, "Hey, listen, I found him. He's there. He's alive." So his brother goes, and they put on a loudspeaker, "Hiroo, Hiroo, Hiroo, this is your brother speaking. The war is over. It's time to come out now." And so Hiroo gets really close, and then he's like, "Oh no, what if this is a trap?" And he goes back in the hiding. And his sister tries, and he's still like, "Oh no, what if it's a trap?" So he continues to survive, living off, the land or whatever, until finally, this is what they do. Back in Japan, his commanding officer is retired. He's no longer in the army. He owns this little shop. He's living his own retired life. These people come to him and are like, "Hey, you need to go and tell Hiroo to come." Finally, Hiroo was formally relieved of duty and turned over his sword. So after 29 years of survival mode and, fighting a war in his head, he comes out and the war is really, really over. Another thing to remember is that Hiroo was not the last holdout. He was just one of the more famous. He was the last Japanese-born holdout of World War II. Another man, Teru Nakamura, He was born in Taiwan, which was at the time a colony of Japan. He also wasn't an officer, so his story wasn't as popular. But it's pretty crazy to think about all these people in the jungles of the Pacific holding out for years and years and years after the war had ended. But there you go. That's the story of Hiroo Onoda. If you have any questions or comments or things to add or a suggestion for next week, leave it all below in the comments. Give it a like if you enjoyed it, thumbs down if you didn't. But either way, subscribe!